Here we have 4 exam paper questions on linear programming. They're all AA star questions, and they're usually the last question on exam paper. Let's start with this one. A shop sells 2 types of garden seats. Economy chairs cost £60 each and recliners cost £50 each. One day the computer recording stock sales broke down. Fewer than 25 garden seats were sold. More than £800 was taken on sales of garden seats. So here we're given an inequality. 20E plus 50R is greater than 800. What do E and R stand for? Well, the 20 is the cost of each chair and 50 is the cost of each recliner. So more than £800 were taken, so the total cost of the chairs, economy chairs, and the total cost of the recliners added together has to be more than £800. So E is going to be how many of those £20. So E is actually the number of economy chairs sold, or just the number of economy chairs. Not actually say sold. And R is going to be the number of recliners sold. Now quite often this gets a little bit confusing because you see the £20 and you just got to realise that these letters stand for the number of those things, and that's a very common idea in these linear programming questions, as you'll see. Write down another inequality involving E and R. Well, we know this one, we've done that one, the £800. This is the other one. Fewer than 25 garden seats were sold. The garden seats are all the seats added up. So the economy seats plus the recliners is less than 25. Fewer than 25. Show the region that satisfies 20E plus 50R is greater than 800 on the grid. Now with this sort of question, when we're trying to do this sort of inequality, the best idea here is to cover up one of the variables, because if we make E 0, 20E is going to be 0, so that's not going to count, and we're just going to look at what R is when E is 0. When E is 0, we are plotting a point on this R axis, which is normally the Y axis. So when E is 0, 50R equals 800, so 5R is going to be 80, so R is going to be 80 divided by 5, which is 16. So we need to plot 16 there. Now the idea what we're doing here is we're trying to plot the actual line 20E plus 50R equals 800, and then we'll work out which side we need to shade. 20E is 800. If it's equal to 800, E would be divided by 20, knock off a 0, halve it, it's 40. So the other intercept of the axis is going to be at 40. And we're going to draw a line between them. Luckily I've drawn the line already. I'm just going to fit it on there, hopefully in the right place. And that's the equation of the line 20E plus 50R equals 800. Now we're told to shade the side that does not satisfy the inequality. Now we want greater than 800. Now hopefully that's fairly evident that that's going to be this side. But if you're not sure, pick a value on one side or the other. So say 10 and 10, and put that into the equation. So 20 times 10 is 200, plus 50 times 10 is 500. That is 700. Is that greater than 800? No. So that's the side we want to get rid of. That's the side we want to shade out. Now those 3 marks are gained by 1 for drawing the line. Sorry, there's 2 for drawing the line. You get 1 if you don't draw the line in the right place, but you get one of the y-intercepts, sorry, one of the axis intercepts, so either 16 or 40 correct, you get 1 mark for each of those. So essentially if you get them both and draw the line, that's 2 marks. And then you get 1 mark for shading out this side. The next one, show the region that satisfies your answer to part B. E plus R is less than 25. So if we plot E plus R equals 25, which is going to be at 25 and 25, because when you cover up the E, let's just do that, when we cover up the E, R equals 25, and we cover up the R, E equals 25 is the line we need to plot. And that looks like this. And we want it so it's less than 25, which is going to be on this side, so we have to cross out everything on the other side. Now there's 1 mark for drawing the line and 1 mark for shading out the correct side, or the incorrect side as it were, this side. Now what is the largest number of economy chairs the shop could have sold? Now all these things in here are what could have happened. They all satisfy the two inequalities. The thing we've got to remember is this inequality is strictly less than 25 and this inequality is strictly greater than 800, so we're not including those lines. This point, therefore this point here, which would possibly be the biggest one, is not included because it's going to be on this line. If I've drawn this accurately, which I'm a little bit out, let's try and move that down a little bit, then that point there, because it's 1510, that's going to be on that line, so that's not included. So we need to come back another bit. So this one's not included either because that's 1411, that's 20 equal to 25, but this point here is the first one that's inside the region, is whole numbers, but is not on the lines. So that is 13 economy chairs. And there we go. And there was 2 marks for that. You could get 1 mark if you just picked any point that was in this region, but there's 2 marks for getting that particular one, which is 13. Here's the second exam question example. Do make sure you try to have a go at these before you watch them being done, so you understand what's going on. Here we have an example where we've got a plot of land is 4,500 meters squared. The builder wants to build up to 20 properties on his land. He's got houses and bungalows. Each house covers an area of 150, each bungalow covers an area of 250. Show that 3h plus 5b is less than 900. Now it's to do with the houses and the bungalows. There are two inequalities you can do, one to do with the area of the land and one to do with the number of houses and properties. So h is going to be the number of houses. If they cover an area 150 meters squared, 150 times h is going to be the amount of area covered by all the houses, plus 250 times b is going to be the amount of area covered by all the bungalows. Now that needs to be less than or equal to 4,500. Now we need to get that down to look like this, so if we knock off a 0 to start with, divide by 10, we're getting a little bit closer, and then we realise if we can divide by 5, 15 divided by 5 gives us 3h. We might even want to write divide by 5 to show it a bit better. So 3h plus 5b is going to be less than or equal to 5 into 45 go 9. So there's a 0 on the end because it's 450. Write down another inequality, very common one. The two things add up to something. This time the builder wants to build up to 20 properties, so the number of houses plus the number of bungalows is going to be less than or equal to 20 because he wants to build up to, he doesn't want to build more than 20. So if the builder makes £35,000 profit on each house and £50,000 profit on each bungalow, complete the graph and use it to work out the maximum profit the builder can make. So we need to plot these two lines on this graph. So to plot these two lines, to plot this line, 3h plus 5b is less than 90. If we cover up the 3h, we need 5b is equal to 90, so b was going to be 18, because 18 5s are 90. And if we cover up the 5b, we have 3h equals 90, so h is going to be 30. So we're looking at a line that goes through those 2 points. And I've drawn one already, so let's just fit that on there. It's important to be as accurate as you can. You have 1, h plus b is less than or equal to 20. If we plot h plus b equals 20, it's going to go through 20 and 20. Helps if you know these sort of shortcuts. When two things add together to give you a number, then that line will go through that number on both axes. So there's going through 20 and 20. Actually, let's just remove the stuff off this one first. So it's got to be less than 90, so we want everything below that line, so we cross out everything above that line, so we're going to shade that out. Then we've got the other line, which goes in at 20. And we're going to shade out everything above that line again, because that's above 20. We want everything below 20. Just like before, we could test if we were not sure by using 1 point either side to see whether it fits the inequality or not. Now we're looking for points where the builder's made the most profit. Okay, so the key here is to look where the lines cross. Now if we're drawing it accurately, so when we're looking for points that are going to give us the most profit or the best result, we basically need to take the points where we've got the corners are of a shape. So we could look at the point 0, 18, so that's 0 houses, 18 bungalows. We could look at the point 5 houses and 15 bungalows, and the point 20 houses and 0 bungalows. Now we make more profit on each bungalow than we do houses, so we can pretty much rule that one out. It's just going to be between these two. So we've got 18 times 50,000 for the bungalows, and then we've got 5 times 35,000 plus 15 times 50,000 for that point. It's probably going to be this point, but we'll just check it through. 18 times 50, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 900,000. And 5 times 35 plus 15 times 50,000. Oh, I forgot to do 35,000 there. 5 times 35,000 plus 15 times 50,000 equals 925,000. So that's our best one, and that's the maximum profit, 925,000 for 4 marks. You're going to get 1 mark for drawing each line with the correct region shaded in, and then you're going to get 1 mark for finding the profit of any of these 3 points, and then 1 mark for getting the best one. Okay, another exam question. I'm just going to run through the obvious things. Like, so far we've seen this before. Explain what the D and E stand for. They stand for the number of whatever. So D is the number of tables, or I should say deluxe tables, and E equals the number of economy tables. Use the information to show that 2D plus E is less than or equal to 15. So the cost of tables, let's just run through that one. So we've got 400D, so that's the cost of building the tables. So how many tables, deluxe tables, it's going to be 400 times D plus 200 times E. And we're not going to spend no more than £3,000. That's going to be less than or equal to 3,000. So if we knock off a couple of zeros and divide by 2, we get 2D plus E is less than or equal to 15. And it should be 10. Oh no, it shouldn't. We're doing this one. 2D plus E is less than or equal to 15. Joiner makes profit on £80 of each deluxe table sold. So this is the profit you can make. So we're going to try and find out which region is going to give the best values. Complete the graph to show the information. So 2D plus E equals 15 is on there. So we want less than 15. So we want all the stuff on the left hand side of this line. We need to make at least 2 of each type of table. so you can't have less than 2 deluxe tables, and similarly you can't have, let's draw the line in for that, less than 2 economy tables. So there's a line going in there as well. So we won't want this side of that, so let's rub that out. And D plus E must be less than 10. So let's draw that line in. So D plus E equals 10. It's going to look like that. And we want it to be less than or equal to 10, so we'll cross that line out. Okay, where's the most profit going to be made? Well, we're going to guess, I would guess it's going to be this one here. 5, 5, but we'll just work out this one as well. Well, actually, that's not a whole number there, so that's no good. So we go 6, 3, 5, 5. We could go 4, 6, 3, 7, or 2, 8. So any of those going to be, well, that was probably going to be better than those. So let's have a look. We've got 6, 3, so 6 lots of deluxe, which is 6, 8, 6 80s plus 3 lots of 50s, which is going to be 480 plus 150, is going to be 500, 630. And then we've got 5 and 5, 5 80s plus 5 times 50, so that's going to be 250 plus 400, it's going to be 650. And then if we go for this one, 4 and 6, okay, that's clearly not going to be more than that because we're going down 80 and only up 50, so that's not going to work. So it's going to be this one, £650 on 5 and 5. Okay, here we have our last example. This time to do with stools and chairs. We've got time that's things take on the cutting machine, time on the assembly line. The cutting machine is available 5 hours a day, the assembly line 7 hours a day. That number of stools built be X, chairs Y. Using the information about the assembly line to show that 3x plus 7y is less than or equal to 42. So it doesn't make any sense from the numbers, although we've got a 3 and a 7 there, but it's 30 and 70. And we need to get to 42. So the assembly line is 7 hours each day. So we need to do, because these are in minutes, we need to convert that 7 hours into minutes, which is going to be 420 minutes. Similarly for that, we will have to do that in a bit, so we'll do it now anyway, so it's going to be 300 minutes. Okay, so the chair and the stool, so we're going to make X stools, so they take 30 minutes each, so they're going to take 30 times X to make. We're going to make Y chairs, and they take 70 minutes each, so we're going to go 70 times Y chairs, and that's only available up to and including 420 minutes. And then clearly if we knock off a 0, we end up with 3x plus 7y equals 42. And now for the cutting machine, same idea, 40x plus 20y is going to be less than or equal to 300. And again, if we knock off a 0 and then we can divide by 2, we get 2x plus y is less than or equal to 15. So let's just plot those. Okay, so plotting those, the first one's done for us. This is the 3x plus 7y equals 42. We want it to be less than or equal to 42, so we don't want this side, so we shade that side out. And then we've got the other one where 2x plus y is less than or equal to 15. If we cover up the 2x, we get y equals 15. If we cover up the y, we get x equals 7.5. So we're going to plot that going through 15 and hopefully about 7.5. It's quite small there. So There's our values. That's been drawn use. How many stools and chairs? Well, it's probably going to be this one in here. Let's have a look. We've got 6 and 3 and 5 and 3, 5 and 4 maybe, 7 and 1, because we can only use whole number ones. 2 and 5, and 0 and 6 are the ones around the edge. Obviously this one's not going to count because that one's better, so either one of those two probably. So let's try 4x and 4y, so 4 and 4. 4 times 18 plus 4 times 27. That's going to be 4 times 18 plus 4 times 27. That's going to be £180. Let's have a look at this one. 6 and 3, so 6 times x, which is the stool, 6 times 18 plus 3 times 27. 6 times 18 plus 3 times 27 will be 189. And then maybe the 7 and 1. The 7 and 1 is going to give you 7 18s and 1 27, which is clearly not going to work. So that gives you 6 stools and 3 chairs is the best. £189. There we go, 4 examples of linear programming at GCSE AA star level. If you managed to stick it out to the end, well done, and I hope you found my explanations useful. If so, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment.